Invermectin for COVID, the real scientific truth. Hello, lovely YouTube family. Welcome to Reality Binge. Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so you never miss out on any of our videos. Coronavirus. We've been living with it for what I think sometimes seems until the end of time. Given the quality of passes that have happened from the sickness, it may be not unexpected that a few shoppers are going to drugs not supported or approved by the Food and Medication Organization, FDA. One of the FDA's positions is that painstakingly assess the logical information on the medication to be certain that it is both protected and compelling for a specific use. In certain occasions, it tends to be exceptional perilous to utilize a medication for the anticipation or treatment of coronavirus that has not been supported by or has gotten crisis use approval from the FDA. There's been all accounts of developing interest in a medication called Invermectin for the counteraction of treatment of coronavirus in people. Certain creature plans of Ivermectin, for example, pour on, injectable glue, and soak are supported by the US to treat for all stalled parasites in creatures. For people, Invermectin tablets are endorsed at unmistakable dosage to treat some parasitic worms, and there are effective definitions for head lice and skin conditions like rosacea. Nonetheless, FDA has gotten different reports from patients who have required clinical consideration, including hospitalization, after self-sedating with Invermectin planned for animals. Guys, do you know there are some things that you should all know? The FDA has not approved or supported Invermectin for use in forestalling or treating coronavirus in people or creatures. Invermectin is endorsed for humans used to treat contaminations brought about some parasitic worms and head lice and skin conditions like rosacea. At the present, accessible information doesn't show Invermectin is viable against coronavirus. Clinical preliminary evaluating Invermectin tablets for the avoidance or treatment of coronavirus in individuals are progressing. Taking enormous doses of Invermectin is risky. Okay, we'll talk about Invermectin over and over in this video, but you ever wonder what it actually is and how it is used? So if you're saying to this is yes, but you don't know the answer, then don't worry, we're here to tell you everything. So guys, basically Invermectin tablets are supported by the FDA to treat individuals with digestive stollidiasis and enteritis, two conditions brought by parasitic worms. What's more, some effective types of Invermectin are endorsed to deal with other parasites like head lice and for skin conditions like rosacea. A few types of creatures Invermectin are supported to forestall heartworm sickness and treat certain interior and outside parasites. Note that these items are not quite the same as one of the individuals and safe just when utilized in creatures as recommended. In the course of last month, forthcoming Walmart and a few other ranch supply storekeepers in certain pieces of the USA saw an anti-parasitic prescription concealed Invermectin flying the racks. At his own store in Jacksonville, Florida, Invermectin deals with almost significantly increased and the telephone rings something like multiple times every day with requests about the medication, Waymeyer says. In any case, a significant number of those inquisitive were hoping to dispose of worms in steers and pony digested tracts. Maybe they needed to utilize the medication for themselves or their friends and family for forestall and treat coronavirus. Prompted as a supernatural occurrence, coronavirus fix by certain specialists and campaigners, regardless of lacking local help, Invermectin is by all accounts popular among unvaccinated Americans. As the quick-spreading Delta variant attacks the country, the quest to elective prescription has driven antibody cynics to Invermectin. Although the Food and Medication Organization has endorsed Invermectin to treat certain parasites in people and creatures, its utilization against coronavirus isn't approved. Toxin control focuses in a few stages, including Florida, Mississippi, and Texas, detail a new flooding calls and cases related to Invermectin abuse and excess. Additionally, the Habitats for Infectious Prevention and Anticipation announced that in a week finishing August 13, 2021, in excess of 88,000 remedies were composed for Invermectin, addressing a 24 overlay increment from the pre-pandemic standard of 3,600 solutions each week. That implied a few doctors were endorsing the medication for coronavirus, notwithstanding the FDA's stand. It incomprehensibly convolutes the administration of COVID-19. Patients enlight the fact that there were so many and there is such a lot of deception, says John Sinnott, a disease transmission specialist at the College of South Florida's Morsani School of Medication, who is additionally a subsidiary with Tampa Bay General Clinic. Likewise, the medication arrangement and portions changed for creatures and people, and the FDA cautioned individuals of expecting mischief and burning through the concentrated creature variant, which contains idle fixes not trended for use in people. In an August 21st tweet, the FDA gave an admonition, "You are not a horse, you are not a cow, truly, you all stop it." Be it as it may, even human-grade Invermectin, thought about commonly alright for endorsed purposes, worms, head lice, and skin conditions like rosacea, can cause incidental effects, including migraines, queasiness, loose bowel, skin rashes, and spikes in circulatory strain. What's more, seizures can result from high portions, prompting hospitalization. Okay, now what science says about the same. Ever wonder? Well, a few investigations propose decreased danger of death, and others allude to less coronavirus patients advancing to serious sickness subsequent to taking Invermectin at the beginning phase of contamination. The proof is unstable. We don't know if Invermectin is useful in the battle against coronavirus, said Stephanie Wiebel, a scholar at the College of Würzburg in Germany. Reliability of pool of accessible examinations is restricted. In a new survey of 14 Invermectin studies, Wimbel and her associates found that the frequency that the preliminary selected, not many patients weren't planned well, now and again driving scientists to misjudge Invermectin's effects. She empowers more vigorous clinical preliminaries, similar to the ones progressed on the College of Oxford in the UK. Indeed, even Merrick, an Invermectin maker, in a February 2021 explanation that its own explanation of a logical writing didn't uphold the medication utilized against coronavirus. Nonetheless, the contention that allies here and there makes it, regardless of whatever Invermectin use may not give clear advantages, it can't do any harm. Assuming that there isn't proof that the item works, any danger the item may pass on is unsatisfactory, says Peter Luer, leader of the Medical of Science in the Public Interest and previous partner official of the FDA. We have individuals who got sick from Invermectin, who've squandered a lot of cash for no demonstrated advantage, and the worry is that Invermectin is redirecting the individuals from things that really work: immunizations, covers, and social removal. Likewise, Invermectin allies who perhaps couldn't gain medicine or the medication from their doctors may fall back on the animal form loaded in rent supply stores, not knowing the distinction. The suggested portion for creatures is a lot higher, and if individuals ingest Invermectin at a high portion, they're probably going to be harmed, says Michael Tang, a well-being biologist of the College of South Florida. Some antibody doubters are likewise falling back on Invermectin to forestall getting coronavirus, despite the fact that there is no solid logic proof to help such conduct, and doctors caution against utilizing Invermectin for broadening periods. At this point, the FDA expresses that Invermectin ought to just be utilized or endorsed for coronavirus in a critical preliminary setting, which regularly includes subsequent meetups and well-being checking for the enlisted members. But ever thought about what actually triggered the Invermectin frenzy? Guys, Invermectin was found and created during the 1970s in a case to discover antiparasitic compounds. Researchers distinguished another type of microbes, Streptomyces ivermectis, from soil almost a far away in Japan that killed worms in mice. The organisms delivered helpful particles called ivermectins, which were answerable for deworming and which later prompted the production of the popular veterinary medicine called Invermectin. In 1987, after human clinical preliminaries showed its adequacy against extreme visual deficiency brought by the parasitic worm Otuncara vulvaris, the FDA endorsed the medication for people in 1996 under the brand name Stromacol. As the viable and well-being of Invermectin kept on being tried in clinical preliminaries across the world, the consequence, a November 2020 distribution driven by the Egyptian specialist Ahmed Egezer, restored interest in the medication's latent capacity. The preprint concentrates on guaranteed significant recuperation among coronavirus patients given Invermectin in the beginning phases of the disease and a decrease in immortality surpassing 90%. However, moral concerns prompted the paper's withdrawal in July this year. It's alarming that individuals are placing their confidence in a medication not demonstrated to be powerful against coronavirus, Tank says. I wish individuals would simply take the antibody. So guys, that's all for today's video. I hope you liked the video. If you do, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any amazing video from us.